Hey there! You're listening to Amplify Your Legacy. This podcast is packed with insights and strategies to turn your passion into something that endures for generations. So get comfortable, stay inspired, and let's jump into today's episode with your host, Sallana Brown.
Welcome back to Amplify Your Legacy. I'm your host, Sallana Brown. Today's conversation is one you're going to have to lean in for because my guest has literally turned a defining moment into a worldwide movement. I'm joined by Michele Blood, an international transformational teacher, a best-selling author, and creator of Affirmation Power Songs that engage both hemispheres of the brain to rewire your thoughts for healing, success, and joy. After a near-fatal car accident, Michele went from a hospital bed to building a global platform that has touched millions. She has co-created over 80 books, music programs, and TV shows, and has shared the stage with legends like Dr. Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer. So, Michele, I'm so excited that you're here. I want to welcome you to Amplify Your Legacy.
Thank you, Sallana. Thank you, Sallana. Lovely to see you again.
Wonderful. It's great to see you as well. So let's start where you are right now. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and the work that you're doing today?
Well, the work I'm doing today it's all these different tools to assist people. My whole purpose in life after my awakening is for others to awaken to their God-given potential, to their enlightenment, to who they are. As I've said to you before, I went off the grid for 14 years studying with an enlightened teacher until I eventually awoke. So now, because of all my past experience being a rock singer and, singing to huge crowds, my biggest was 50,000. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just stating a fact that all of those experiences that I had were there to assist me to be able to do what I do now. And that is to bring so much light to people through many, many different ways. Of course, through teaching people directly, which I do through the mystical experience, but also teaching people. At the moment, we're just about finished doing it's called True Prayer app. And it's got all these different categories from if you're jealous to pregnancy to healing to prosperity, like hundreds of prayers that I've recorded to assist people because I know that my prayers work because I've seen them work for 16 years. I've been enlightened. I've seen them work tremendously for people. So this new prayer app is something we've worked on for nearly 3 years and we'll be launching it in October. So that is going to be amazing because people, Sallana, people at an unconscious level, you don't have to be religious to want to be prayed for. I remember when my father had cancer and he knows sort of what I do, but he lives in Australia, I live in America, but he actually called and he said, I know you do that thing, so can you pray for me? And he said, do I have to believe in it? And I said, no, you do not. You do not. You do not have to believe in it. Just let me do it. Just the fact that you've asked permission. So I know that when people will listen to it, they don't have to tell anyone they're listening to prayers, but people love to be acknowledged and prayed for. There's something in every single person that knows at an unconscious level that there's more to them and to life than just this.
Certainly. So, like you said, you've created so many amazing apps, over 80 books, music programs, and teaching. What lights you up the most about the work that you're doing right now?
Well, when I see people who are suffering not suffer anymore, it's really quite simple. When I see people that have been suffering are able to have that suffering released, whether it's from lack of money or health or a trauma or whatever it is, that is my gig. I call it my gig in life now. It's just to release suffering in the world because it's not necessary. This world of illusion that I call the Maya, as the Buddhists did for years and the Hindus, that I call the Maya, is illusion, and things can be recalibrated. So easy. Even past experiences of when you're a child can be recalibrated. I've even got special visualizations on this prayer app for you to be able to manifest a new future self, and for you to have for you to actually visualize yourself as a little child and see that recalibrated. If you have many, many traumas and hurts in your life, you can actually change that through the power of mind and the power of prayer. And it is astonishing. People go to therapy for years and years and years, and therapy is very, very good for a certain type of person who needs it. I totally am up with therapy, because sometimes people have to talk to someone when they know no one else is listening, and that they can't tell anyone else their secrets. That when it's something to do with childhood trauma, you have to go back and recalibrate that and have light transmitted and prayers, because it's beyond just the human mind or psyche, something that's traumatic from a childhood incident that someone may not even remember. It is something that can be done. And I love that we are doing that, because I know that everyone on this planet deserves love. The divine created each and every person, and every person has that enlightenment within them, and they wouldn't even be here unless they were meant to be doing something on a higher level with a higher purpose to assist themselves and other people. And one of the ways to do that is, yes, to amplify your legacy, whatever you think your legacy is. And if you haven't found your legacy yet, you can find it. There are many ways to find out what that is, but your main legacy is to acknowledge you are worthy of all good, including wealth, including success, including loving relationships and good health.
Oh, certainly. You talked about manifestation. I know you have a project, one of the first in the world, the first manifestation video books. What inspired you to create something so unique? And how does it work differently from a traditional book?
Well, I always do an audio book when I'm going to be doing when I've written a book. Anytime I'm writing a book, I always do an audio book as well, because I love to do an audio book and add the affirmation songs, pop songs, and do great stuff. And then I was working with this wonderful student of mine named Holly Fuller, who had never done apps or anything like this before. But I said, I want to start a blog with videos. And once I saw a couple of the videos that she put together to go with what I was saying in the blog, I said, that's what we've got to do. We both came up with the idea almost simultaneously. Let's do the manifestation video. Let's make it into a video book. And so what we did was, for every single chapter, because I'd already recorded the audio book, we did these amazing images that go along with everything I'm saying. Positive, fun, irreverent, to bring up your oscillation so it's in a joyful mode. And then we did a music video with the affirmation songs at the end of each chapter. And so that way you have an entire brain and senses overload. Your doubting mind, which is the culprit with people wanting to change their lives, comes in and says, that's not true for you. Look at where you're living right now. You don't have that car you want. That is not the truth. So your doubting mind doesn't have a chance to interfere with your good thoughts, because you're watching something, and everyone knows what it's like when you're watching a movie. So, you're just totally into it. There's so many great images. You hear my voice and you can actually read along at the same time. And we're about to put it into Albanian, Spanish, Italian, and lots of different languages. Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. You build something that isn't just about success. It's about impact, about energy, and about creating something lasting, right? So for our listeners, many of who are entrepreneurs, visionaries, and heart-centered leaders, why do you think your message resonates so deeply with them right now?
Well, I think particularly with these type of people have decided to do something on their own and be brave enough to not just rely on the 9-to-5 job every day, which could be taken away from you at any moment. they've decided, like I say to people, if you're going to do something on your own, don't give up your day job straight away. That's not to say that you can't in the future, but keep that going, because in the West anyway, when I lived in Asia, it was different. Most people work 6-7 days a week. I don't even ever know what day it is because I just work every day. I don't consider it work. I consider it my purpose. So I love it. But it's people have nights and they have 48 hours on a weekend to create something. And you can do so much in 48 hours. If I could show you, I can show people how to write a book in just 3 days. I mean, there's so many things you can do. So for entrepreneurs, they're always going to have a little bit of fear come up about, oh, I'm going out on my own and I want to do this and I want to amplify my legacy. What is my legacy? I know what it is, but how do I do it? And what do I do? They absolutely require encouragement, faith, and support, because like I always say, you've got to do it on your own. That's the first decision. You make it, not someone else. But you cannot do it alone. That's where the divine comes in. That's where you end up creating like a soul family to work with you and to, work with other people, get affiliate programs going and just get to meet people and network. And you can do so much of that these days because there's so many Zoom meetings where you can meet lots of people and collaborate. And there's so many JV ventures and all this sort of thing that people can do. So I do believe that it's important to be unique and do your own thing. Don't ask other people's opinions unless they've done it better than you're doing it right now.
Yes, I love that. You have such a powerful story of transformation. I want you to take us back to the moment that something changed for you. Everything changed for you, the accident, the hospital bed. And how does that, that first affirmation song change your life?
Thank you, Sallana. I had a near fatal truck accident after a gig. The driver was driving for nearly 14 hours from Brisbane to Sydney. As the passenger, he fell asleep at the wheel. As the passenger, I won't go into all the gory details because I don't want you to lose your breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Excuse me. But I was in the hospital for months and months and months, and people were bringing me cassettes. And for the young Gen X people, just Google it if you don't know what a cassette is. And they were putting on books on tape and all this sort of thing. And I wasn't listening to anything because I was in horrific agony. I just kept passing out all the time. I was so much pain. Anyway, a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, written in the 1920s, published in the early 1930s, all about male entrepreneurs in America. I didn't care a hoot about this book. I was already a successful rock singer, videos, all that sort of stuff. I didn't care about that sort of thing. I'd never been into motivational things or just into spiritual, sort of metaphysical things, but not like, you can do it, because I was already very, very self-possessed and able to make things happen. I always had that sort of can-do personality. And so Napoleon Hill, there was just one chapter where he healed his little infant son who was born deaf by doing what he called I just had a brain fart, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, we call them affirmations, the auto-suggestion, he called them.
Yes.
And we call them affirmations now. And so there was something within me just clicked, and I said, I'm going to do an affirmation. I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend. As the healing light of the universe surrounds me and flows through me, I know that I am healed. And I kept saying it over and over again, and it didn't work because I'm in a hospital bed. I'm in traction. I just had a 17-hour operation. I'm in a lot of pain, and my doubting mind could only see and feel what was actually happening. So my doubting mind would not allow the affirmation to go into, as he would call it, the treasury of your subconscious mind, which now neuroscience has proven is actually true and it works. And so I just started singing it. I am healed, I know I am. I love myself, I am my friend. And I kept singing it over and over again, recorded it, had miraculous healing, everything changed, went into a recording studio with a few band members, started writing and recording tons of affirmation songs, not for the public to listen to, because they were just simple little rock songs. They weren't like us in a 48 or sometimes 78 track studio recording our songs, which were incredibly like big sound. So I never expected them to go to the public, but they did because promoters found me and ended up hiring me to tour with Bob Proctor, Wayne Dyer, all these people I'd never heard of before. And before I knew it, it sort of just took off globally.
Wow.
And I just said to my band, I'm going to be moving to Malaysia and I'm going to be in America and so I gave my band 6 months notice so that the women, the wives in the band wouldn't kill me because some of them had kids and it's like I'm their money being the singer. Anyway, so I gave them six months notice and then I took off.
Wonderful. So what do you think the mindset shift was that you had to make while you were lying in the hospital bed that changed everything?
Well, to know that I was healed when everyone and doctors were telling me I would not be healed completely if I did survive at all. And so I had to, the mind is such a powerful thing. And when you can get a positive new thought into your subconscious mind and keep it planted there by repeating it through music, it cannot leave your subconscious mind, even if you want it to. That's why advertising agencies spend billions a year on jingles, because they know once you have that jingle, you have their car, Toyota or whatever it is, forever in your mind. And so that is why the left side of the brain is where the lyrics or the affirmations. The right side of the brain is the melody. So even if you're just singing a cappella, you still have the melody. You have a whole brain experience, and your doubting mind cannot interfere. Knucklehead, run away, doubting mind. And so it goes straight into the treasury of your subconscious mind. And that is why after that healing, I went into the studio and started writing and recording lots of affirmation songs for so many different topics, but just to help my own mind and the mind of the band so that we would have all these positive affirmations. I'd never, ever, ever did it for other people to listen to. So It's really fascinating. It wasn't like, oh, I can do this from now on. No, never had it in my mind. So that sort of blew me away, how people responded and how many people became healed and started attracting good stuff in their life. And Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and all these different people that I was working with said, this is amazing. You've got the whole audience on their feet. You've got them up on stage singing these affirmation songs. This is incredible. We all have taught affirmations and visualization for years, but this goes beyond in song. I didn't know no one had done it like that before. I had no clue.
Love it. Love it. So who were some of the very first people when you first started singing and creating those songs who believed in the Affirmation Power Songs, and how did their support shape your journey?
Well, Bob Proctor and his wife Linda, more than anyone, because when I worked with him, he wasn't on a tour with a lot of other speakers. They just had me tour with him around Australia, and he didn't want a singer in his big seminars that he had on. The promoters in Australia had hired me, and they said, well, you don't know what she's like. She's bringing in younger people as well. And so he said to me, I didn't want a singer. And I said, well, nice to meet you too, mate. How's it going, Bob? But he was lovely. He said, I'm just kidding. He said, I've never seen anything like this. He said, the audience get it. He said, do you realize this is going straight into the subconscious mind? And I said, yes, I have a clue about that. And he said, the audience, he said, you've only sung 2 songs so far, because we were on a break, in the evening. We had it at the Four Seasons, which was the Regent back then in Sydney Harbour. And he said, I can remember I Am Energy, all the lyrics. I can remember I Am a Magnet to Money. They're so short and sweet, but it's fun with the rock music. And he said, I want you to work with me all over the world. And so I worked with him for 7 years straight.
Wow.
Wrote and recorded. He actually wrote some lyrics to some songs because he really got into it, and put on seminars for him. I did things. We recorded so many products together. You know, we would write them together. He would do the voice. And then eventually he said, you do your own audio programs because you've got your own story to tell. So he sort of encouraged me to start writing my own books and all that sort of stuff.
That's amazing. What I love about your story is how clearly it shows that we always have the power to choose how we respond and how we create, no matter the circumstances, no matter, if we go through challenges and accidents. And that's what we explore here on Amplify Your Legacy, not just success for success sake, but intentionally creating work, energy, and impact that ripples far beyond ourselves. So when we think about legacy, what is the legacy? You touched on it a little bit. What is the legacy you want to be known for, and how are you intentionally building it right now? That's one of the questions that I ask everyone.
Well, I don't think of what I'm doing as a legacy. I think it is my life's purpose, and that is to relieve suffering in the world and to have people have much better lives. And, if anyone is to remember me, because that doesn't mean anything to me, I can't help it. It just doesn't, because enlightenment, you don't think about things like that anymore. Mm-hmm. It's just simply, while I am here, that people can just improve their lives. And well, if you're going to call something a legacy, I guess all the products and books and everything long after I'm gone, that they will continue. They will continue to assist people, because look what happened to me with Napoleon Hill's book. There I am in the late 80s in Australia, this female rock singer, and my life has changed from one little chapter from this bloke who wrote Think and Grow Rich for Men. So definitely that book was a legacy. So I think rather than me, the products that we've created and my team, Holly Fowler, Johnny and Dara, Trevor Rogers, I mean, the most amazing, amazing people. And always I include, first of all and foremostly, my teacher Kundalini, who I studied with for 14 years, this enlightened teacher. And if I hadn't, I wouldn't have gone into enlightenment and be able to do the things that I'm doing now, which I feel are far more important, not in importance sake, but are far more powerful to assist people to relieve suffering, because there's so many things that can be done. So many. Everybody, you can be assisted immediately. You begin it. Yes. Begin it. Make a decision.
You've worked with so many amazing people. From that experience, what actionable insight can you offer that would empower our listeners to strengthen their own personal or professional legacy?
Don't ask your family for advice. Ever. Don't ask other people for advice. If you've made a decision, you're going to do something, and it is woven into the marrow of your bones that is your purpose, and you want to do that. You feel it's not about ego, it's not about money, it's something that is within you. It's not about passion or ego, it's about something that you feel you can do to assist this world and bring happiness into the world. And if it can also help you create wealth and multiple streams of income, that's icing on the top of the cake. That's a baked cake, because you don't want to put icing on top of an unbaked cake unless you're a little child, and then they'll definitely eat that. Yeah, they'll love that. But anyway, I think it's important to ask to begin to meditate and speak to the omniscient being that created you. Call it God, call it enlightenment, call it your soul, your higher self. You speak to that. Do what you can to stop thought. And that's my new book, is called Stop Thought. And to go into meditation, because your higher self, once you're attuned and your diamond, your soul is getting cleaner and cleaner, you can hear, you can know. Sometimes it's an actual voice. You can actually know where to turn, when not to turn. Ask your higher self, your intuition, for advice, not people. People are tricky. Unless, of course, they're very successful and loving people like Bob Proctor and Linda Proctor.
You talk about aligning actions with our purpose. how can our listeners know if they're taking aligned action versus just staying busy? And what's one limiting belief that you often see that's holding people back from doing just that?
Oh my goodness, Sallana, you're brilliant. That is a great question. No, it's really, really a vital question, actually, because people, you said just to be busy. People sometimes think they're creating and they're getting things done because they're busy, because they're doing stuff. But they're doing stuff a lot of times that aren't, the things they're doing aren't actually contributing towards their main intention coming to fruition. And so I think it's very, very vital that people, when they're going to be doing something, that they don't distract themselves with all of these other things that they think are helping them. Oh, let's go to this marketing thing. Let's do this. Why don't you begin right now to do what it is you want to do, and make sure every day that you at least an hour, 2 hours minimum, that you are working towards definitely something that is helping you with your intention. All the rest of the things, I know that self-sabotage, my friends. I know you do. Oh, well, I'll just do this and I'll start it tomorrow. No, you've got to, once your spiritual momentum has taken flight, you're on the surfboard, you're on that wave, you're on that, metaphysical wave, and you say, oh, I'm just going to stop and get a piece of pizza, or I'm just going to stop and watch this movie, or I think I should do this or speak to this person first. The wave has gone. You've missed the boat. Once you're on your spiritual momentum, it can take you to the hemispheres if you stay on it. I'm not saying you don't have breaks and exercise and all that sort of thing. I'm just saying stay on course. If you can stay on course and not give up on your dream and not distract yourself by distractions that have nothing to do with your highest good, you will definitely 100 million % succeed.
Totally agree. I love it. And speaking of success, what could you give as far as a simple step, one action that they can take right now to start amplifying their legacy? What would that be?
Well, I've got lots of freebies for your beautiful people right now. If they go to Michele Blood, MicheleBlood, Michele Blood. It's an Irish name, Blood. It's not punk rock. MicheleBlood.com/amplify. You will get the first 3 chapters of my audiobook, Stop Thought, and just those first 3 chapters filled with light transmission and information that will really assist you to be focused and calm and be still so that you can begin to hear your higher self. And also my entire album that I did with Bob Proctor, God bless you, Bob. He left the body a couple of years ago. Songs for Success, you're going to get that, my most popular album, sold, it's millions of people all over the world. And one of my favorite audiobooks that I've done is the Magic of Affirmation Power audiobook, the entire audiobook, which includes music and visualizations. And it is like me. It's short and sweet. And it's KISS. Keep it simple and spiritual. I'm a simple person. So it's very easy to listen to and to understand, oh, well, if that's that, I can do that. Because I think, and you may agree with me, Sallana, that too many people make things, they want to put themselves on a pedestal and say, if you do this and you pay me thousands of dollars, well, then you'll learn the secret. That's a load of BS as far as I'm concerned. Those people can just run away, get lost. Don't abuse people who mortgage their homes to come to your events because you charge so much. Don't do that to people. That's abuse.
Yes, certainly. Well, I love that. I love singing our affirmations, reprogramming our minds, and stepping into the energy of the future that we want to create. You're such a wonderful living example of what happens when we choose to live and to lead with intention. So I really want to thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom and your insights with us.
Well, I want to thank you, Sallana, for it. Like we're talking about starting something. I mean, you've been doing this and you've got something else that you've just done. And I mean, it's not easy starting your own podcast and a platform like you did with the other thing that we did last month. I mean, you are doing what was that called?
It's called Mastering Passive Income.
Yeah,
It's a
Mastering.
summit.
It was an amazing summit, and attracting and getting the right people to come and speak with you and to support you, because I totally support you. I love you. I would do anything for you. You can ask me anything and I would do it for you, because you come from such a beautiful place of heart and love, and also wanting other people, including yourself, because you've always got to include yourself, to succeed. So, mwah.
Well, I thank you for your wisdom, and your story is so inspiring. And thank you for sharing your light with us today.
Thank you, Sallana. Thank you, everyone.
And for everyone listening who's ready to go deeper, I want you to reach out to Michele. How, again, can we connect with you?
Well, if they go to micheleblood.com/amplify and get the products, they will, or just micheleblood.com, you'll see lots of tabs, all my different websites and apps and everything right there.
This has been such a wonderful conversation. If this conversation has lit a fire under you, start building your legacy with more intention. Share this episode with a friend. Tag me on social media. Tag Michele Blood. And let's continue this conversation. Until next time, remember, your legacy grows with every intentional action you take. Go make it count. Bye-bye for now.
That's all for this episode of Amplify Your Legacy. A huge thank you for listening in today. I hope today's conversation has sparked some reflection on your own legacy. Let's keep the conversation going. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram at Sallana Brown, and visit sallanabrown.com for more resources on growing and preserving your legacy. Be sure to leave a rating or review. It helps others discover the show. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with inspiration and actionable strategies. Until next time, keep amplifying your legacy.